Top 9 Aquatic Monsters and Legendary Creatures from Movies and Mythologies. Sea monsters are known predominantly from mythologies and sailor legends. Some of the most famous sea monsters we know of are the Kraken from Greek and Norse mythology and the Cthulhu from Lovecraftian tales. Over time, people have creatively fabricated stories about aquatic monsters, some seeming quite realistic to ponder upon. With the vast expanse of the water bodies on Earth, there is no saying whether it is just a whipped-up scary story for children or the truth lurking out in the ocean. Regardless, we shall see some of these mysterious aquatic monsters and hope that we can avoid shouting an SOS next time we're near water. In this video, we will deep dive into the 9 scariest yet elegant aquatic monsters from movies. Let's begin, shall we? Number 1. Lizzie, from Rampage 2018. Davis Socket, a primatologist with a military background working with an anti-poaching unit in San Diego Wildlife Sanctuary, is seen caring for a rare albino gorilla, George, and has raised it to communicate in sign language. This peaceful bond between man and ape is abruptly disrupted when a space station carrying a mutagen explodes and spreads across Chicago. The affected animals are an unsuspecting gray wolf exposed to the pathogen, a crocodile that eats a canister whole of the chemical, and our friendly neighborhood ape George. Davis must now work with Dr. Kate Caldwell to find a working antidote for the 3 wild creatures and save Chicago from the rampage caused. In the movie, we are introduced to the mutated crocodile as Lizzie. Lizzie is your average crocodile traipsing away in Everglades National Park until she eats an entire canister of mutating pathogens and turns into an enormous kaiju-like croc. She has gained extra tusks, frills, and other physical attributes, making her look petrifying. She does retain all her crocodile characteristics, except they are all heightened. She has the reptilian ability to use her tail as a club to flick away from her enemies, and her thick skin is impenetrable by any ordinary item, save for her sharp razor teeth. She is only killed when a metal rod is rammed through her eye into her brain, but otherwise, she is a powerful and lethal character in the film. The movie is worth watching for the SFX, VFX, and mindless action. Number 2. Womel, from The Host 2006. Before we go forward, please subscribe to us. Your small click will help us in a big way to create more video. Let's continue. Gandu Park runs a snack bar with his dysfunctional family near the Han River in Seoul, South Korea. One day, when a monstrous creature goes on a rampage on the banks of the river, Gandu's daughter Hyunso is dragged away into the water by it, striking the family with grief. They mourn Hyunso, believing her to be dead, and soon after, the authorities quarantine them away, claiming that the creature is host to an airborne virus. Suddenly Gandu receives a shocking call from none other than Hyunso, who is alive and hiding in a sewer. Seeing that the government was of no help, the parks joined hands and prepared to save the youngest of their family from the enormous sea monster. The monster, translated in Korean, is known as Gwomol. Though it is claimed to carry a toxic pathogen throughout the film, it seems to be more of a result of the lethal formaldehyde jettisoned into the river 6 years before the film's plot. Looking like a mutated cross between a fish and a reptile, the Gwomol's aggravated attack is a response to the abuse from the people on the banks of the river. It attacks with a ferocious swipe of its claws and tail and swims with agility. It regurgitates its victims to consume later or finish off and can swallow only organic flesh. It is, however, vulnerable to high-caliber ammunition and fire and bleeds black blood, as seen towards the end of the film. Number 3. Slatter, from Pacific Rim 2013. Humanity faced an interdimensional attack from creatures known as the Kaiju in 2013. To counter this, humankind built the Jaegers, massive war robots piloted by 2 soldiers who share a neural link called drifting. 12 years into the interspecies war, Marshal Pentecost Stacker recruits Raleigh, one of the workers involved in wall construction, to the Shatterdome base in Hong Kong, where he is asked to train and retake his position as a pilot for Gypsy Danger, the Jaeger he co-piloted with his brother before things went awry in the last mission. Raleigh meets Mako, the director of the Jaeger program and Stacker's adopted daughter, and requests her to be his co-pilot, much to Stacker's displeasure. When their trial run backfires, Stackers bans their project, but they are reluctantly called into the mission when the other Jaegers are defeated. Raleigh and Mako must fight the Kaiju while battling their inner fears and win at any cost. Slatter is the big bad Category 5 Kaiju revealed at the movie's end. It fatally attacks Striker Eureka, and the Jaeger team sacrifices itself in a thermonuclear blast to clear Gypsy Danger's path. After a fierce battle, Gypsy Danger uses its nuclear reactor to incinerate Slatter to the core and blow up the breach. Slatter is characteristically aggressive and destructive, with a hammerhead face, quadruple 3-clawed limbs, 4 eyes, and 3 club-like tails. The second largest Kaiju in the Pacific Rim universe, Slatter's superpower is an electrokinetic blast used to wipe out any digital Jaeger in its vicinity. Number 4. The Kraken from Clash of the Titans 2010. The Kraken is described twice in 2 renditions of Greek mythology films under the same name, Clash of the Titans. In the 1981 version, the Kraken is shown to be the pet of the mighty god Poseidon. Zeus commands the Kraken to destroy Argos, a kingdom ruled by King Acrisius, as a punishment, and the goddess Thetis retaliates by unleashing it on Joppa. In the 2010 version, it was revealed that the Kraken was created by Hades to destroy all Titans and was trickyly locked up in the underworld. Towards the end of the film, it is let loose to destroy Argos. In both films, the maiden princess Andromeda is given up as a sacrifice, but Perseus defeats the Kraken by exposing it to Medusa's head and turning it to stone. The Kraken, by mythology, is said to be the offspring of the Titans Oceanus and Ceto. A giant sea monster, the Kraken is endowed with strength, tentacles, and razor-sharp teeth. The Kraken is a highly skilled swimmer known to flood cities and destroy them by a swipe of its tentacles or by diving into the sea powerfully. In Norse mythology, the Kraken is one of the most dangerous monsters at sea that devours and sinks ships and resembles something between a grotesque octopus and a colossal squid. Even today, sailors are warned not to cross the Kraken's path. Number 5. Octolus from Deep Rising 1998. The Argonautica is a luxury cruise ship set on the South China Sea. Heavily armed mercenaries having their eyes on this cruise hire Captain John Finnegan and his crew to navigate them there. Once they reach the ship, they find out that the cruise's navigation and communication systems are disabled. They leave 2 crew members behind to repair the boat, but creatures in the dark mysteriously kill them. Unaware, the rest of the crew enter the ballroom and find no passengers. To their surprise, and see blood everywhere. Each mercenary is dragged and killed in grotesque manners by tentacles as the movie progresses. The ones left behind must figure out a way to kill the monster and escape from the cruise ship. The monster in this movie is Octolus, an ancient, grotesque, octopus-like tentacled monster who relishes human flesh. It is armed with mouths on the ends of its tentacles to feed and attack with agility and intuition, as if the tentacles themselves are adorned with sensory organs like eyes or a nose, which is exciting. It also has a big, fanged mouth and 2 eyes. The sea monster doesn't eat the humans, but eats all organic matter and regurgitates the bones. It also seems amphibian since it is shown breathing quite easily above water. As directed towards the end of the film, the monster appears vulnerable to fire when it is killed in an explosion. Number 6. Cthulhu from Underwater 2020. A strong earthquake strikes the facility Kepler 822 at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, forcing the crew to evacuate due to the damage. Nora, Rodrigo, and Paul meet and team up with Lucian. They find Demily and Liam, who inform them that all communication with the surface is destroyed. Lucian then suggests they all walk to nearby station Roebuck 641, wearing pressure suits, and use the escape pods there. They don their pressure suits and make their way to the station when Rodrigo's helmet implodes from the pressure, killing him. Outside, they see a distress signal from an escape pod. Liam and Paul go in search of any survivors. A creature attacks them, but they manage to kill it and bring it into the cargo elevator they are using, where Emily, a biologist, studies it and discovers it is a creature from an undiscovered species. As they walk, Kepler explodes, and they're thrown out in the open, leaving them vulnerable to the ocean and its hidden mysteries. The creature Cthulhu is derived from Lovecraftian tales and portrayed as a benevolent gigantic alpha creature to underwater creatures. Appearing towards the movie's end as the big reveal, Cthulhu begins attacking the protagonists. It is as enormous as a mountain, with a vaguely humanoid, elongated skull, 4 eyes, tentacles for a chin, fanged jaws, and octopus-like mannerisms. Cthulhu is seen to be destroyed by a nuclear explosion caused by Nora, but it's unsure if it's dead. Number 7. The Creature from Sweetheart 2019. Jen gets washed ashore after the boat she sailed sinks. She finds her friend, who succumbs to his injuries and buries him, only to see the body missing and a blood trail leading out into the ocean. Over the next few nights, she is faced with a nocturnal sea monster with a fancy for meat, human or animal. It goes on to attack Jen's other friends, Mia and Lucas. The audience notices and observes the monster in these encounters, a humanoid mutation of a fish with an amphibian face and muscular limbs. It is sensitive to light, having been drawn to Jen due to the flare she fires during the first bit of the movie. As shown during the film, it does have a good amount of speed, strength, and height and looks almost reptilian. It uses clicking noises like bats to communicate with its surroundings. However, later on in the movie, the creature is revealed to be semi-nocturnal as it attacks Jen and Lucas during the day. There is a certain level of vulnerability to the Godzilla-looking creature when Jen stabs it repeatedly with her knife. It oozes out black, tar-like blood and retreats back into the massive abyss underwater. The creature is easily the main character of this Netflix release, with the build-up and the big reveal. Given the budget and the making of the film, it is regarded as a good effort that does justice to its genre. Number 8. Homo Aquaticus from Leviathan 1989. The CEO of Tri-Ocean Corp. hires a crew to work in an undersea mining operation for 3 months, headed by geologist Stephen Beck. During their work deep underwater, one of the crew members, dubbed Sixpack, discovers the remains of a Soviet ship named Leviathan. Retrieving the records of the deceased Soviet crew and a log from the captain, the team sits and tries to find out what happened on the ship. Meanwhile, Sixpack and another crewmate Bowman share a flask of vodka Sixpack had salvaged from the boat. Sixpack feels very ill the next day and gets checked out by Doc, but he finds lesions on his back. Soon after, Sixpack dies, but Beck and Doc hide it from the crew to avoid upheaval amongst the others. Bowman feels sick too, and she stumbles down to where Sixpack lies hidden and discovers his cadaver mutating, and she realizes the same is happening to her. So, it is a shock to Doc and Beck when they find out Bowman has killed herself, and the corpses are conjoining together to create something straight out of scary legends of the sea, like a Leviathan. Homo Aquaticus is a scaly monstrous black organism with a human head on its back and a human arm jutting out from its side. The creature is attributed to advanced DNA mutations and amphibious locomotion and is only killed with a powerful blast from the inside. However, it has nothing to do with the biblical depiction of the Leviathan. Number 9. Euxia Cambaro from Dagon 2001. Paul, Barbara, Vicky, and Howard are offshore Spain vacationing. Paul lazily dozes off on the boat and dreams of a beautiful mermaid with razor-sharp teeth. Their boat is swerved off by a sudden storm and trapped under rocks. Vicky and Howard are trapped below deck, so the other two go to the nearby village. Paul and Barbara reach Mboka and request aid from the priest, who commissions 2 fishers to return with Paul, while Barbara calls for a doctor and the cops. However, Paul finds Vicky and Howard missing, rushes back to the decided upon hotel, and finds Barbara missing. Paul takes a quick nap and dreams of the mermaid again, but his sleep is broken by some humanoid fish people walking up to the hotel. He escapes and ends up in a tannery full of human skin, where he finds Howard's remains. Sensing something gravely wrong, he runs away and finds solace with a human, Ezekiel, who reveals the dark truth about Mboka. Euxia Cambaro is the mermaid with razor-sharp teeth in the movie who attempts to seduce and take Paul for herself. According to Lovecraftian literature, She donned the priestess of Dagon's order in Imboka. She is known to be the initiator of Dagon's church in Imboka in the 19th century. She is a mixopiscian and cephalopod beings, with 2 tentacles for legs and gills on her torso. She is known as a Deep One and a worshipper of Cthulhu, and is revealed later as Paul's half-sister. That was all in this video. Do hang around for more film and pop culture content. What was your favorite monster from this list? Let us know in the comments. Stay safe and have a good one.